Hi, welcome back to my channel Aboard Sea Oasis. Today I'm going to be talking about a trending topic. When can we expect the U.S. and Canadian border to reopen for boaters? Say with me. Hi, I'm Sandy, and this is Kaya.
And I'm Paul, and we're aboard Sea Oasis.
We always enjoyed outdoor activities and exploring, so now we're spending time exploring in the San Juan Islands, as well as Canada, and eventually Alaska.
And we want to share our experiences and adventures with you and people like you who enjoy the same kinds of things.
Welcome aboard. The short answer is the border will remain closed between the U.S. and Canada until June 21st of 21 for non-essential travel. This is a pretty hot topic for those of us who have our boats up in Washington, in and around the San Juan Islands, who plan to go into Canadian waters as part of our summer entertainment. Paul and I have been wondering if the borders between the U.S. and Canada are going to open even by next year. We and other mariners spend lots of money each year keeping our boats ready to go in the waters around the San Juan Islands, particularly to go into the Canadian waters and behold all the beauty that Canada has to offer. And not having that is a pretty big disappointment because it's really putting a kink in a lot of our travel plans. Now, of course, we understand the pandemic is real and people have died and people are dying even now. It's just disappointing because all of us want things to just get back to normal, don't we? We just want all that to go back to the way it used to be in the good old days. Point Roberts, Washington is looking to be the very first city in our country to welcome Canadians back into the U.S. So there is some light at the end of that pandemic dark tunnel. Breaking news reports say that we may experience that border opening between Point Roberts, Washington and Canada very soon, maybe even this week. Although I highly doubt it, and I've got lots of reasons why. You see, we are planning our summer. We're not in Washington like we normally are at this time of year, at least I'm not. Paul and I will both be there in June through the end of the summer and on into the fall. So we're already planning people coming up and visiting us and wanting to go here and there in the San Juans and maybe even into Canada. In preparation for our visitors, I have been scouring the news reports to find out what's going on and what the latest news is. And I decided if it's this interesting to me, it's probably pretty interesting to you too. So let's get back to Point Roberts and find out exactly what they're doing. You see, Canadians travel to Point Roberts typically to buy groceries at a cheaper price since it's just across the border. And a lot of the real estate in Point Roberts is owned by Canadians. And their economy is 90% based on Canadian tourism. By January, this past January, 80% of their businesses in Point Roberts had already closed. You can imagine how devastating that is. Chamber President Brian Calder says they absolutely cannot survive another summer without tourism. Canada has been hit hard by COVID, as we all have. But they are having trouble getting everyone vaccinated for lack of supplies. But here again, Point Roberts is in the lead. Whatcom County Fire District Chief Christopher Carlton has renewed his efforts to start a cross-border vaccination to help the Canadians in this respect. The chief has sent a second letter to lawmakers, bringing it to their attention the unique position that Point Roberts has to use a surplus of doses of the vaccine from the U.S. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says that he would really like to see things get back to normal, but he feels that the vaccination rate in Canada should be higher. It's only at a little over 42% at the time of this recording. Trudeau says that he would like to see at least 75% of Canadians vaccinated before these travel restrictions are lifted. Can boaters from the United States enter Canadian waters right now? Well, the answer is yes and no. You cannot enter for tourism, sightseeing, or pleasure fishing. You can only navigate through Canadian waters if you're going from one place outside of Canada to another place outside of Canada. And your travels must be direct, continuous, and you must take the most reasonable route. And there are anchor restrictions, which I have put the link about that in the description down below. You'll find a lot of different links with this information in them if you want to research it further. As I stated earlier, the border will remain closed till June 21st of 21 for non-essential travelers. But how do they define non-essential travelers? According to the Canadian Immigration just a couple of days ago, non-essential travel includes vacationing travelers or coming to the country for the birth of a family member, although a parent of the baby could be exempt. Non-essential travel also includes the upkeep of a home you own there, maintenance, or attending a funeral of a family member, because they do have restrictions on how many can attend a funeral. So as you might expect, anything you want to do in Canada that's fun, tourism, recreation, entertainment, will be denied, at least for now. And you might be curious, the numbers for COVID out of Canada are here. People that meet the requirements can go into Canada as long as they've had both vaccines. Both countries are looking at a way to accomplish this opening of the border by using a two-track system for vaccinated and unvaccinated travelers. They're referring to this as the vaccine passport. Currently, there's a mandatory 14-day quarantine for anyone coming into Canada from abroad. But people who meet these new vaccine passport regulations will be exempt from the COVID testing and the quarantine. But the one obstacle here, they need to find a way to handle those who have been vaccinated by a vaccine that has not been approved by Canada. By the way, the U.S. government is also looking at a type of vaccine passport to use for international and domestic travelers. So that is a summary of all the things I've been reading and finding and looking up. I've scoured the internet back and forth for at least a couple of hours, trying to get the answers that we need for travelers that are coming to enjoy the beautiful San Juan Islands on our boat, Oasis. I have some other videos here that I think you'll be interested in about Canada and trips we've made up there. If this video has been valuable to you, I would ask you to do one thing: subscribe and hit the bell so that you will be notified every time I release a new video. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching.